entirely new to the participants because you are being in purely management area. Of course, the management area is also in need badly for implementing, incorporating the FinTech. If you are saying FinTech in an overall way, it is not having much things. Which section you want to incorporate the technology? So the topic given to me for this session is finance, a broad statement. So I may take privilege to consider that finance broader area as banking. So when we thought of doing banking, when we thought of transacting something from one point to another point, how effectively we may able to make the transaction. So that's what I mentioned here, the Merkle tree. Merkle tree means in cryptography and computer science, a hash tree is called as Merkle tree. It's a tree in which every leaf node is labeled with cryptographic hash of a data block. In a layman way, I can say, as a company X, having a bank balance of say 3 crore, having some cash inflow as well as cash outflow. So whatever the outflow in terms of various branches, various heads, here we are calling as hash tree or Merkle tree. So this is a common term in computer science and in cryptography. So every leaf node on Merkle tree is labeled with the hash of a data block, and every non-leaf is labeled with the cryptographic hash of the label of the child node. So the technology comprises a network of databases that are spread across multiple peer-to-peer nodes, which we called as workers, synchronized to function such that focuses on providing financial services to both financial and non-financial institutions in order to improve efficiency and transparency, as well as the reducing transaction cost. I hope the audience may understand the requirement of implementation of this particular technology, specifically in finance. The reason, either financial or non-financial institutions, if you want to improve the efficiency, if you want to improve the transparency, if you want to reduce the transaction cost, as on the date, as on the time, this blockchain technology is contributing a lot. In fact, many companies, MNCs, already in this. So here we may ask a question, sir, I purely belongs to a management category person. Is it mandatory for me to learn something in blockchain? You just think yourself at the end of session, I will clear your issue. Probably few of you, I strongly believe, few of you are having the product of Apple. I am sure before you go on for Apple, you might have experience of other brands also. When we say accuracy, right? When we think about financial technology or FinTech, which is going to adopt some technologies related with computer, then this particular slide is very apt, very much apt for this topic. So those who are having the experience of non-Apple product and thereafter having certain experience in Apple product, may find the accuracy, speed, and updation in their Face ID. The reason, the algorithm, the machine algorithm, which is formulated in that Face ID of product, is having the provision of updating continuously till the end of its life. So that, for example, in a layman's style, a 5-year kid started using this Face ID can continue till its death without re-registering their face. In such a manner, the machine learning algorithm is formulated so that the machine is keep on updating whenever it is under usage. But if you are going in some other Face IDs, the machine learning algorithm is not functioning up to this Apple product level, so that as on the date or till the date, the Face ID of Apple product is claimed as triumph of machine learning technology. Why I put up this in this finance? Probably you know the answer. When we use apps, specifically financial related applications on mobile or net, the user must be verified authentically so that there will be no further issues in the future, legally, mentally, sometimes physically too. So when we think of making such kind of apps in a bank, right, or in our mobile app, we have to ensure the coding is appropriate way. Second thing, a common word in the last 1 decade we people are using. In fact, they are also a familiar term for you people, records. Any type of information. A person X having bank account in the bank Y in his name and his family member's name as a joint account. When we say simply a person X is having an account in bank Y in his name and his family member's name, it is having almost 50 plus data. 50 plus, we can say, information about that particular account. So those things, those informations, those records can be kept in a particular, in our finance banking, we are saying we are keeping in a particular page. So here we are utilizing the term block. So the blocks are a snapshot of each of the states. Maybe at the time of starting the account, the person X age will be 58, but there is a non-changeable item like date of birth, gender, Aadhaar card, passport number, etc. things. There may be some exceptional one-time changing, two-time changing, or any time changing. So whenever the things get changed, the state is getting changed. At the time of opening the account, there may be say 1 crore. Later on, it may increase or decrease. So the state of account balance, that is an information, right, is getting changed at a particular time, depend upon the requirement of the user. So the blocks will be the collection of records, and the blocks are snapshot of each state. Track down asset whose state changes. What is the chain? If you are keep on updating after changing the bank balance or account balance, there will be a new number. So we are continuously updating the records of the person X. Sometimes the person X son may operate. Sometimes the person X wife may operate. Sometimes the person X can operate. Those things also recorded and continues in the next block as a chain, a continuous one. So when you say the blocks are getting extended, the account is in operational. So the blockchain means self-sustaining peer-to-peer database for managing and recording transactions. It is self-sustainable and it can be manageable and recording transactions also. The specialty is there is no need of any central bank, or in our term in banks or finance we used to call as clearing house. So such kind of central bank clearing house involvement is totally eliminated if you are adopting this technology in banking or financial sector. Blockchain is named after how transactions are stored. I already told, blocks of data or encrypted by altering by person X or by person Xn or by person XY. So it is the representation of the continuous change of state. I hope you have seen the same video demonstrated by the previous speaker regarding the workflow of blockchain. The system is presumed immune to tampering, fraud, or political control. It is not at all possible for tampering. Reason, please be patient for some time, I will explain. It is handling through machine learning algorithms, as well as it is stored in thousands of computers. Here I mentioned multiple computers, but in reality, sometimes it will be in millions of computers. There is no manager, there is no domination, there is no boss of the network or by a single person. If you want to transact anything, it will be only once, that too in electronic ledger. That process happened, so the block will be goes to the next level as showing in the screen, block 084. When it gets changed again, it will go 085, 086 and keep on. Being a management person, no need of going into technical in depth, but all not interested. If you are interested, then we can have some other sessions. How we can utilize it? What for we can utilize? What is the purpose? As I said earlier, if you want to exchange something in between one to other, right? If you want to manage the exchange of assets, whether it is movable asset or immovable asset, depend upon the nature. For example, we can say, since we are having the topic of finance currency, As on the date, the peak level real estate, inventory. The most important thing, electronic medical records. We used to say EMR. For all the participants, either the company and or, I think in the slide I mentioned only or, it is not like that, organization and or people who take part in the digital business network, who exchange these assets. Even we may think of this implementation in our stock exchange. We can think of in our bank. We can think of even in our home financial administration. What do you mean by transaction submitted by a participant to affect the assets? Exchange itself during which there is a change of state. So, wherever, whenever we make changes in the state, then it will go as new. Right? Why it is required? Generally, we are having the seller and buyer. Right? Seller is not trusting the buyer. Buyer is not trusting the seller. So what we are saying, if it is international, we are asking them to give LLC. If it is a national, some occasions we are asking you give the bank guarantee. We want a third party, right? The third party is required for the buyer and seller because there is no trust. The problem with the traditional transactions is mainly for not having the trust. So in that scenario, can we have a system where trust exists on the transaction and not the central authority? As I said earlier, there is no central authority, there is no clearing house. In that scenario, without having any problem, the seller and buyer can exchange the assets. It's possible in this particular technology. I said there is no trust between seller and buyer. Why it is having? Because of these issues. Tampering, lack of transparency, confirmation, double spending problem. If you are applying this particular technology, tampering is not possible because it is allowing only one-way encryption. It's easy to compute, but difficult to reverse. Why it is difficult to reverse? I already told thousands of computers. When I say thousands of computers, thousands of users in different locality of the world. So among the users, more than 50% should agree to reverse. Maybe if the number is only limited, it is possible. But institution like bank, it is impossible because we don't know who are the users used to that. And it is difficult for us to physically identify and give request to them. Or it is difficult to identify physically the location of them and crack it. In fact, everything is possible, but it will consume lots of time. Within that time, the system will give alarm, right? Again, if you are setting such an algorithm. Then transparency. Everything is in open platform. Again, it's having its own limitations. If you are making it as a public, it is available in public. If you are making it as a private, it is available only for the specified members. So that the users knows clear picture of the history of the chain, which is giving a lot of confidence and helps to create the trust. Then comes the confirmation. Until unless it goes to the new block, until unless it creates a new block, it is not confirmed the transaction is successful. So soon after receiving the new block, we can ensure it. Similarly, double spending. Maybe some of you have experienced. We may apply or we may order for even a lunch. When you order in the app like Zomato or something, the money transacted from our account but not reached the receiver account. So what we used to do? Whatever the amount debited will be credited after some time only. So we have to do next transaction. We are supposed to do double spending. But in this case, as long as the amount get credit into the receiver end, the block will not be created as a new one. So that the double spending problem is totally eliminated in this technology. The amount will not be debited until unless it's get credit successfully. Hello? So the debit and credit from one to others or from source to receiver will take place quickly. So that's what the trusting is happened in this technology. This is what I told. Tampering is not at all possible because as is mathematical algorithm, which is allowing one-way encryption, and it is easy to compute and difficult to reverse. This is called the immutability, or in a technical term, we are saying as crypto technology. Second thing, tampering. Just a quick calculation. How much money would you have if you doubled 1 rupee every day for 1 month? Right? How does that translate in 256-bit electronic signature? Again, purely a technical term in computer science. So that the transparency is very clear and people will get a lot of confidence and trust. Here, the term is called as distributed ledger. And the double spending, here we are calling as crypto has network of miners that is called validators. When you say validators, that is in layman term, we used in finance as the receiving end. Of course, algorithm to auto validation, but algorithm is going to create by us one. That's what I given an example of Apple Face ID and other MNC's Face ID, and why Apple is claiming them as triumph of machine learning technology. Here, the technical term we are saying as verification. Example put up as proof of work, and it is not having any central authority or clearing house. Historically, from the several centuries back, the third party involvement in any type of transactions are there. That third parties are making the integrity trust transaction. Without third party also, we can make such kind of integrity, trust, transaction by implementing this particular technology in specifically finance sector. So this blockchain technology, which is an emerging technology, is making trust in the trustless by means of immutability, provenance, finality, conscious, while the technology terms as crypto technology, distributed ledger, proof of work, and no central authority. The value addition. When we talk about the finance in banking, the recordation, for example, the stocks, bond, money, artwork, words, digital identity, and more than that. It is not limited with this. It is not limited with this level. Value exchanges. Third one, smart contract. I hope you of you may aware about smart contract. Already spent some time on the definition of this particular technology. A reliable, difficult to hack record of transactions and of who owns what. It is based on distributed ledger technology, which in securely records information across a peer-to-peer network. In fact, the banking people are deployed different type of softwares for making easiness of their transactions. Luckily, we didn't receive or hear any such kind of hackings in a major way, except few, except very few. But still, like the accounts or account holders in Swiss is coming out, account holders in specified Seychelles, Mauritius, etc. also getting leaked, which means the system which we are having as on the date is possible to hack, possible to track by third parties, non-owners. But in this specific technology, such kind of things are totally eliminated. Why? Because of the distributed ledgers. This is a database that is consciously shared and synchronized across multiple sites, institutions, or geographies, accessible by millions of people. It allows transaction to have public witness, which I said at the beginning itself, provided it is a public chain. The participant at each node of the network can access the recordings shared across that network and can own an identical copy of it. Any changes or additions made to the ledger are reflected and copied to all participants in matter of seconds, sometimes matter of minutes. So the distributed ledger stands in contrast to a centralized ledger, which we are currently adhered in our financial sector. The centralized ledger, which is the type of ledger that most companies are using. A centralized ledger is more prone to cyber attacks and fraud as it has a single point of failure. Right? So underlying distributed ledger is the same technology that is used by the so-called BC blockchain, which is the technology that is used by Bitcoin. Again, a familiar term, the term heard by maybe most of. When you talk about the distributed ledgers, as I said earlier, it might be public or private. Why it is public? Depend upon the type of ledger, the answers will be. To keep things simple, we can say that in public network, anyone can validate, write, and read transaction. For example, I can say our IRCTC, where people can watch all the records except the money transaction of the individuals. That is a public ledger. Whereas in private networks, only invited members can validate, write, and read transactions. Hybrid also there, mingling public and private. When you look the IRCTC entire thing, the financial as well as administrative things is in a hybrid mode. Some examples like given here for public is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero are the best public ledgers. If you are considering private, we can think of Hyperledger Fabric, Corridor R3, or Corridor BPI. Many more are coming or available. Then comes this ISO 222. Maybe some of you here, those who are specialized in finance, may recall quickly about this ISO 222. It's a multi-part international standard prepared by ISO Technical Committee TC 68 Financial Services. If you are claiming that, sir, I incorporated, implemented FinTech.
Can I ask one question, sir?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I have one doubt in my mind that like if some new party is being involved in a particular block, let us say in a block there were three parties, okay, A, B, C, and one new party has been involved, like party D. So there will be a creation of new block for the same, or in the previous block this addition can be done.
Definitely no. At what point, what block that person D is joining? That point onwards, the person D will be incorporated.
Incorporated in the previous block.
No, not in the previous block. It will
Okay.
be the state is getting changed at point C. For example, I will tell person A, B, C join together to start a business, right? And they are doing for the past 6 months. At the starting day of 7th month, they plan to involve party D in their business. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
With your question. Is it like the question?
Yes, sir. This is the question, sir.
Right.
When this
So
D is
when the party A, B, C joined to do business means at the day of joining them, they are starting the block. They are doing some transactions by means of sales. Sales number 1. So the block 1 is named as P1. It is getting changed, right? By the time the person A is feeding, say, 1 crore rupee into the business, again the state of the block is getting changed. So B1 is going to B2, right? By the end of 2nd month, person B is getting back his, say, 50,000 rupee. So it is getting changed so that the block added as B3. Till B3, all the three partners are inside. So all the transactions are known, notice to these 3 persons. And the process is happening. At the end of 6th month, All the three parties decided to add party D, whatever the state available on the 6th month end day. Say, for example, we can say block 600. So that block 600 is modified as block 601 by incorporating party D. So the party D will be noticed all the transaction from the block 601. The party D may be given provision to see the previous blocks provided if the three parties unanimously agreed, or at least 50% and more number of persons permitted to see. Then the person D can see the previous things. Otherwise, the person D cannot be see previous things. He can see the block 601 onwards. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, one more question is there.
Yeah.
Uh, I would maybe it is actually, sir, there are so many blocks which are created, okay, in a blockchain setup.
Yeah.
So I have out of curiosity, I may be asking a very silly question, but I have a curiosity to ask this because,
Yeah.
like, what will happen? Like, so many transactions are taking place where
Okay.
the all are stored somewhere, okay, maybe in cloud.
Now,
So,
cloud. See, when you talk about blockchain, okay,
okay,
I can understand your question. The data is stored in multiple computers, right? Depend
okay.
upon the user's geographies, right?
So, sir, these multiple computers are are they belong to like some international organizations or they
It,
are
it,
what
it, it belongs to the users,
users? Okay.
right? It belongs
So,
to the
can a
user.
user from India use that? User from India can use this
Yes,
service if this is provided by America,
yes, yes, yes.
and these and what like I am asking from the storage point of view, like how much storage is
Yeah,
required.
we are not storing in cloud, or we are not going to store in a data center. The data are stored in the chain, and the chain is in different localities.
And this does have any implication on environment or like electricity issues, anything like this? Because I have
You are 100% correct. This is the reason the data transaction is taking much time. If you
okay,
are buying a Bitcoin, it will take at least some hours to get validation. It won't get validated quickly. Even though I mentioned that it will validate quickly, right? That quickly is having some hours. Provided if you are having your own network, right? And if you are asking the platforms which I shown in the previous screens, I hope you can remember, right?
yes, sir.
Right?
Okay, so
If you are
there
having this private permission ledgers organized by the Hyperledger Fabric or Corona 3R, the Corona B3I, or similar thing, right? Then the validation will come quick.
okay, sir, this is true about for the as far as validations are concerned, but like uh, the volume of transactions which are taken place, and then also these are not rewritable or deleted. It
Yeah.
means it continue to pile over a period of time. Okay, so and they are stored also. So the
Okay. You
storage.
are talking about storage capacity. See,
So
nowadays
I do. I have maybe I am from non-technical background because
I understand. I
this
completely
question is
understand.
this
I
question is
completely
being
understand.
there in mind for so much time period that like somewhere that the data is stored.
I completely understand. Right. I completely understand. I will ask you a few questions. Right. See, what age you started using computer? Even though
Uh,
it is in a few minutes,
okay,
let us
okay.
clear this kind of issue.
Sir, I have started to use computer maybe in 2004. First time I bought computer at
Fantastic.
my home.
2004, you might have used, say, I can say like this, Intel processor
Yes,
with
yes, yes. It was
right,
Pentium 4.
Pentium P4, right? We used to say P4, P3, P2, right? Like that came. So you used to pay for computer with hardly 4 GB hard disk or 8 GB hard disk or
Yes,
40 GB hard disk,
yes,
if I am correct.
yes,
Right?
yes.
Now, what is the storage we are normally using? If you are asking the kids, they will say 500 GB or 1 TB is the generic common one. Right?
Hmm.
If you are looking the data center capacity in the year of 2004 and currently, right? There is a huge difference.
Yes,
Uh,
sir. Yes,
right?
definitely.
So when you talk about the storage, of course, that's what we mentioned as this Merkle tree. We are having numerous number of transactions, and every transaction is having its own sub trees or branches also, right? As a person, I may deal with thousands of people in my lifetime. So all the thousands of people are having thousand branches, and again the branches will have another some branches. Am I right? So
Yes, sir.
definitely the data number will be higher. Accordingly, we have to implement the technology also. So if you are looking any household computer nowadays, 500 GB or 1 TB is a common one,
Yes,
right?
sir. Now, some mobiles also we get so
Even
much.
mobile is so.
Yes,
So
yes.
I hope I answered your question. The data storage is not
Hmm.
at all a bigger issue, right?
Okay.
More than that, uh, I will tell one more thing. It is really need for the management people also. See, when you talk about the millions of computers going to utilize for making this validation, we have to think about the environmental also. How much it is going to
Yes, yes, yes,
emit
yes.
carbon, right? So for that, the new technology is in the infant stage, which is called as quantum computing, where there is no need of data. Once the data is validated, that will be destroyed immediately, right? I hope you can understand. Shall we go to the next topic?
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. You have made me understand this after such a long time period. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, being a management person, you might know this ISO 222, which is made by this TC 68 Financial Services of ISO Technical Committee. Actually, this describes a common platform for the development of messages using a modeling methodology to capture in a syntax independent way financial business area, business transaction, and or associated message. Whatever the app the banks are using should have this kind of certification. This is called the Universal Financial Industry Message Scheme. This is proposed by ISO to develop all financial messages. This is not describe the message themselves. It is a recipe to develop message standards. The main ingredients of this ISO 222 are a development methodology, a registration process, and a central repository. Here I am using the term central repository, right? But when you implement the technology of BC, we are not using the term central bank or clearing house. Other than that, remaining things are all applicable or derived from this particular term. Next, we can think of, even the participant is also asked, we are doing numerous number of transactions. When we use numerous number of transactions, is it possible? Whether the banks will adopt? I am 100% sure you bank people will tell. If you are asking like that, 38 of the largest banks worldwide using this particular cross-border payment. If you are thinking about cross-border payment through blockchain, that is one term is called Ripple. 38 of the largest bank, which includes American Express, HFC, Standard Chartered, are all using. The reason, it is the instant transaction, and the visibility of payment is available to everybody as a transparent manner. As I said earlier, until unless it gets credit, it won't create a new block. This Ripple's cross-border payment technology has been adopted by almost 250 financial institutions in over 50 countries, including the international payment giant you might hear or used in your lifetime at least once, MoneyGram. However, many banks and partners have announced long-term plans to switch to this new technology. This is called XRP, Ripple. Again, it is a decentralized cryptocurrency native to the Ripple net payment platform. We are saying always there is no boss, there is no central system, but if you are looking micro level, there is a boss. The boss is a Ripple net payment platform, which might be owned by some people, right? For the last 9 years, it started in the year of 2012. That's what I mentioned. The world leading banks like American Express, Standard Chartered, HFC, Barclays, Bank of England, or we can say formerly the Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, are all using this. This currency is called as XRP currency. This XRP ledger is a shared system with all data recorded publicly, and it is having the security also. Anyone can look at the exact outcome of any transaction and read the transaction metadata. You might hear this JP Morgan, the popular financial sector. They built the Quorum blockchain internally using Ethereum network. The software that underpins Ether, one of the most well-known cryptocurrencies, is what? Quorum, which will remain open source, that's what the Ethereum network is given guarantee, is being used by the bank to run the interbank information network. The Morgan may have several branches. They used this for internal purpose. And of course, we can say, we may say private also. The reason I put up in this slide, trillions of dollars is flowing in this net in every time. This particular JPM coin is a planned dollar-backed cryptocurrency, otherwise it will be called as a stable coin from the major bank, JP Morgan. Even though it is called a cryptocurrency, it is a stable coin. There is no variation. I hope our government of India is also come up with such kind of digital currency. Let us see in what manner they are coming up. Right. When we talk about the FinTech, financial technology, it required software. It required modern technology. What is the purpose? If you want to do automation, if you want to reduce the manpower, if you want to increase the efficiency and accuracy, if you want to gain more trust among the users and partners as well as the society, we are supposed to have financial technology. If you talk about the language, some speaker may say disruptive, automative, digitative, or simplified. Hallmarks, if you are asking, 10 years back, I would say 20 years back, There is no mobile payment apps. There is no term called cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Gemini. Right? Now, if you say, I have a Bitcoin, you are owner of, say, 40 lakhs. Similarly, Gemini. And if you want a payment app software, the price in the stock market, the price in the ledger is a greater one. You might hear about the PayPal. 20 years back itself. Whoever used may understand the value of PayPal. How much quickly it will transfer money in cross-border. Actually, PayPal is a FinTech company. Any company which integrates the financial services with the technology is considered as a FinTech company, right? Among other things, PayPal provides the services of money transaction and online payment, making it a FinTech company. Are we thinking about this FinTech technology very recent past? We are asking, it is no. For the past several decades, we are having technology implementation in financial sector. Starts from 1974, SQL, then we came up with magnetic tape, then we came up with the TCP/IP before, then we came the www, World Wide Web, and centralized social web for exchange of value, Web 2.0. So it is having different periods. We can say versions also, right? FinTech 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 3.5. Depend upon the geography, depend upon the elements, depend upon the origin, we can classify. Starts with the linkages, digitalization, smartphone, and the latest things. It's offered, as I said multiple times in the previous minutes, reducing a high cost, increasing the efficiency, the trust among the clients, facilitating the compliance of the regulatory authority, more than all, huge security. Of course, the security is the concern for longer period of time. If you are looking at the latest developments in FinTech, $50 billion invested in each year. %66% of financial transactions are now made online. 40% of existing banks' roles will be disrupted by machine learning technology. 500 plus new fintechs are created every year. 20 billion top things may become the next banking customers. 30% increase in operating profits would be gained by banks. Please don't think that because of this automation, people will lose their job. It never. 20 billion unbanked people could be addressed through mobile. $50 million is sufficient to create a new digital bank. So Few latest developments happen. Of course, if you are considering 1990s, when the internet and e-commerce business models arose, and in the following decade, banking in most parts was already completely digitalized. The global financial crisis in 2008, in which many people lost their trust in traditional banking systems, security, of course, transparency has become more important than ever. This is the reason we are all thinking about jumping into the research of FinTech, specifically in management sector. So that the banks will have several benefits. Apart from making banking more accessible and rapid, the technological innovations influence reach is very, very diverse. This financial technology enhances relationship directly with customers through the launch of crowdfunding platforms. It allows small businesses, entrepreneurs, charities, and anyone to receive support without raising money from conventional investors. You might see crowdfunding platforms or crowdfunding by the individuals in digital marketing also. Similarly, the social change is another chief promise that many fintech firms, specifically Global South, aim to reach by taking into account demographic and social needs. You might often hear the term microfinance and digital lending platforms. If you are looking our country or Asia or even Africa, with a large number of people who were disadvantaged by traditional banks are now enabled to use payment service. Very good example, the past couple of years, how much transactions we individual done from home to somewhere, someone, some company for something. Just recollect yourself. Similarly, FinTech also lead to a disruption of the insurance industry, including everything from online policy handling. Then importantly, the data protection and providing tailored insurance. Insurance we may discuss in separate session. Then comes the startups. You might hear about the robo advising. Again, the previous speaker also mentioned a little about that. So the regulators, governments are benefiting, and the companies with the emerging technologies, tools are having the scope. Investors, incubators, and accelerators are having the safety. Consumers and users are getting more comfortable condition. Whether it is innovative, yes, it is innovative. How it is innovative? Because this FinTech aims to compete with traditional financial methods in the delivery of financial services. I listed almost 12 items. On the left side of your screen, I put up all the technologies. On the right side, your own management terms. The financial inclusions, payments, insurance technology, wealth technology, right? Capital technology, open banking, etc. things. On the left side, I put up AI and robotics, cloud technology, blockchain technology, cyber security, regitech, and edutech. When you say 12 items, I can brief only few items. I'll already given the brief of PC. The regitech, a subset of FinTech, which is focusing on technologies that may facilitate the delivery of regulatory requirements. I hope there is no need of briefing the regulatory requirements of banking sector or financial sector to you people. So that regitech is facilitating the delivery of regulatory requirements. Because it's a complex regulatory environment everywhere. Of course, it is getting changed every time to time also. So just to think of these things and choose appropriately for your forthcoming actions or researches. This I am going to skip due to the non-availability of time. The characteristics, multiple times I briefed, and at the beginning also I put up in different slides. The same thing repeated here. I will share the PPT through the coordinator for your future reference. Then comes the platform. I given 3 examples of public as well as private. But the component of BC can be classified majorly as platform or service. What is it? This BC platforms allowing the development of blockchain-based applications. They can either be permissioned or permissionless. Example I mentioned, Ethereum, Hyperledger, R3, Ripple, right? And many are there. Among this, other side, we are having the service, which is called, you might hear about software as service, SaaS. Similarly, in this blockchain, it is called as BaaS, BaaS, blockchain as a service. That will be offered by some people, some MNCs, that allows the customers to use cloud-based services to develop, use, and host their blockchain apps, functions, or we can say smart contracts also. So the BaaS, which includes a cloud-based service provider that manages tasks to keep the infrastructure operational and agile. So you have to choose what type of component I am going to have it in my company. Whether you are going for a platform oriented or BaaS oriented. People will go for platform in any one or others. As I said, permissioned one or permissionless one. On the screen, I put up few items. Start from Ethereum, Hyperledger Fabric, Ripple, Quorum, Corda, Stellar, Dragon, Tesos, right? As a platform component. If you are asking Tesos, it is not having any permission. If you are saying Ripple, it is a permissioned one. Now you just correlate when what I explained in the Ripple utilized by the American Express or MoneyGram. It is a permissioned one. If you are talking about Ethereum, it is permissionless. If you are asking about Stellar, it is having both public and private, permissioned as well as non-permissioned. But if you are looking at the Dragon chain, it is having public, private, and hybrid. We have to choose our options. Right? Maybe it will make more confusion because you are totally new to this technology. Similarly, some examples for service. Maybe familiar terms are here for you. Amazon Web Services, IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, and the famous seller Alibaba from China. This next ledger is owned by Samsung. Boda. We are looking this EDF that is from origin of French energy. So maybe some of you may think like that, sir, are we going back to a topmost king type person's control? Again, it's a question. The coming days will have answer for such things. Second thing, what type of organization size I want to have for using this? It can be applicable to large enterprises or small, medium enterprises. Both type of organization segments can utilize this. The topmost, if you are looking organization side, you might hear about Baidu Trust. It's again a Chinese search. Or you may think of Trust SQL. Right? If you are looking at the provider side, whether they are providing application or are they providing middleware or infrastructure, what is the item they are going to provide? Then comes type. Said earlier, private, public, or hybrid model. Or means we are talking about financial sector. All the listed applications are connected with finance. Right? I'm not going to brief again this. Okay, before it goes to the next slide, I just want to recall how the auditing in the future. The Vice Chair of KPMG Audit, Frank Castle's statement. It's important for today's auditors to be at the forefront of disruption, such as blockchain, and to identify ways to innovate to advance audit quality and to align auditing capabilities with the changes occurring in the marketplace. He said a decade back that, of course, we people also should think, being an academician, what way we have to teach the young kids, those who are having the aspiration to have such kind of audit in the future. We have to think what way we have to empower in terms of education, in terms of demonstrable education to the young kids, by incorporating the latest technology in their curriculum and syllabus. Right. How the blockchain in banking? It might be interbank transaction. I have given an example. JP Morgan Bank is implemented blockchain internally for their interbanking transaction activities. In fact, Ripple, that is MoneyGram, or HSBC, or the American banks are already implemented for the remittance, smart contract enforcement, in fact, crypto banking. We can think of record sharing and storage, in fact, clearing and settlement. Till the last breath, we may have such kind of loan syndication, etc. things. So the blockchain in banking is coming as inevitable one to us. As I said, the regulating authority, KYC or AML, regulatory reporting, trade finance, the data security, in fact, with a lot of transparency, and that too, the people, those who are not having any bank accounts. Right. Come to wealth management system. Why we have to think of wealth management? When you think about wealth management, it required real-time settlement that could transform the execution of financial transactions with positive impacts on transaction costs, counterparty risk, and capital availability. Right. When you talk about smart contracts, here I mentioned the term spot, single point of truth. We used to say single point of contact, right? The data privacy protection, risk and financial history, including KYC, know your client, and investment profile prepositions would become less costly and much simpler, only possible by this smart contract and spot. This blockchain is facilitating faster client onboarding and provider switching. Then comes the next gen services, digital investment portfolio. I will brief little higher in the next coming slides. When you say real-time settlement, I already briefed transaction cost, counterparty, and other things, smart contracts, and next-gen services. Example, in the wealth management system, you might hear about UBS Bank. They also implemented and testing, experimenting with the distributor ledger technology based trade finance system for rationalizing import-export transactions at cross-border level. So here the thing comes consortium. Consortium comprising 6: Swisscom, Zurich Continental Bank, and some more. They are trying to redesign the process for settling over the counter equities. Again, these two terms. I said one term, import-export transactions at the global level. Second thing I told, redesigning the process for settling over the counter. In your technical term, it is called as OTC. Okay, over the counter equities with the help of this blockchain. Specifically, the platforms like Ethereum, Ripple, right, are all in this process. The best example I can say how the portfolio and client book management is happening. If you are looking wealth management systems implementing blockchain will allow firms to store a golden copy of reference data in a decentralized manner on a permissioned blockchain. So now you may have a rough idea about which are all platforms are having permission, which are all platforms are not having permissionless, which are all having both and hybrid. So if you are having this BC environment, the organization can run two chains, one interacting with the external, one interacting with the internal. Again, you recall JP Morgan is implemented blockchain for making communication internal. On the other hand, if you are looking the first one, Ripple, they implemented for the public, right? But every bank is required both internal communication as well as external communication. So visually, we have to think of the hybrid. So one is for interacting internal, one is for interacting outside. Sometimes the communication will come from outside to inside and inside to outside also. So visually, the system will be a hybrid mode. So the smart contract executed if any deviation occurs in asset location or user concentration. I put the point number one. I made a contract with the bank. Say I put a deposit of say 10 lakh rupees. If any changes happen, right, it will notify me immediately. It's available nowadays through SMS as well as mail. Notification will received by the client, advisor, workbench. Client also getting a response. Most probably we used to receive, if you have not made such transactions, you reply in such and such manner, right? So that it will be blocked. So here the response is going to both sides, client advisor as well as client. Then comes, there is no response. It is taken as acceptable and it is done by them. In that case, the block will be rebalanced and it will get validated and the new block is created in that chain and the created chain will be validated and added in the ledger and goes to the public. While you hear this, you may think, oh, this system is already in practice, right? System is in already practice. How come it is new? The only thing, the data is stored in multiple places and it is in a continuous chain manner. Even if the client advisor wants to correct, it is not possible in the existing block. The client advisor has to get approval from the client and it will be entered into a new block. Even if anyone does mistake, that will not be erased, that will be corrected and the records will be available for the lifetime. So people will afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are common. It is a possible. Right? So this is a simple example I thought of sharing with you. Similarly, one more thing, wealth management system for know your customer and client onboarding. Also, the similar manner can be possible if you are thinking of implementing the blockchain. Everything will be tokenized and connected by a blockchain one day. Is spelled out by Fred. Everything. Why I am saying, why I am recognizing, why I am recollecting the statement made by Fred Egram means even our government already piloted a implementation of blockchain in revenue department few years back. Government of Tamil Nadu came up with their plans. Similarly, the government of Kerala established a blockchain academy as well as implementation center. Government of Uttar Pradesh organized an international conference on this specific theme, and they are also in this line. Government of West Bengal is also in this step. Most of the countries, most of the companies, specifically MNCs, are already jumped into this sector. When I have a session on insurance, you may understand 80% of the insurance company in the world are already in the process of implementing this technology in their sector. So the statement made by Farad is nowadays becoming a real one. Similarly, trade booking and settlements also possible. The logic just I shown here. Then comes the very attractive one, robotics. If you are looking the investment area, nowadays the deposit in the banks are in a huge manner. But still, artificial intelligence and its subset we used to call as machine learning is made reality of this robo advisors. How the superpower computer algorithms with the capability of making financial decisions, such as stock picking 1,000,000 times better than any human. Maybe few of you known about National Pension Scheme, NPS. When you invest money monthly wise, at the beginning of starting this account, you might receive a question. You want to do auto allocation or manual allocation? What is auto allocation? Whatever the money you put into the account can be allocated into various stocks automatically by the machine. By keeping a concept, the user should get more profit. There is no risk for the individual if they are going for auto allocation, but the profit may be a limited one. On the other hand, manual selection. You have to sit many nights and days for making an analysis, which stock is best, which stock is going to give quick profit, and accordingly, we have to choose. We are going to take a risk. Maybe our analysis is correct, our guessings are correct. In that case, we may get quick money. Otherwise, we may sometimes lose also, right? So the machine algorithm, that's what I call the superpower computer algorithm, which is just a machine learning algorithms. It has to analyze the various tones in a quick manner. Accordingly, it has to allocate. If it does, definitely the things will go in a positive happiness indexed height way, right? Not only that, interest, dividend, capital gains, right? You might well use the term like IRA or Roth IRA, etc. items. When we go for auto allocation, that is the machine allocation, there are some pros and cons. We cannot go for interacting the machine multiple times. Maybe some of you fed up with such kind of algorithms, their past experience. For example, you have invested, you started an online account in a bank. You have a question, you have a doubt, so that you've gone for that WhatsApp app for clearing your doubt. Until unless your question is understandable by that particular algorithm, it won't answer you properly. After some 3-4 attempts, and if the machine is not understand your question, then it will say, please wait, I will connect with the customer care executive. Right? So the options also less. The multiple accounts. If you are looking the pros, the knowledge, time, strategy, the mindset, mindfulness is more. If you are looking the best robo advisors as on date, the Sophie is the topmost one because it is not having any charge. Expenses ratio is very less. Similarly, the wealth front as well as betterment. These are the 3 top leading robo advisors as on the date. Many are there. Somebody may have fees, somebody may have higher amount of expenses ratio, someone may have higher rating, somebody may have very low minimum account balance, etc. things. Depend upon various heads. Then comes sentimental. I don't think so. None of the banks are having such kind of option to get feedback from us. But if you are going to a supermarket mall, before paying the payment, the cashier will ask, sir, give your feedback. It might be in 5-point scale, very good, good, average, poor, very poor, or 3-point scale, opinion maybe. Again, it is a technology which is called NLP. Of course, ML is also there. This is to interpret and classify the individual's emotion. What is the mindset I am having at the time of offering my feedback? But it will reflect, it may reflect past experience also. It's a study of market psychology to predict future price movements. Even financial sectors, you people may think how to incorporate NLP and ML in your activities. In other terms, it is called as opinion mining, or we used to call it as text analysis, or in an ordinary manner, analyzing customer feedback. Or we can say brand sentiment. We can put up in multiple names. And some models are there. Those models and terms are all entirely new to you. Once you familiarize with this technology and having interest, we can go for thinking of such things. And types also there. For example, fine-grained sentiment analysis, emotion detection, aspect-based sentiment analysis, and multilingual sentiment analysis. When you say fine-grained sentiment analysis, generally it will be 5-point scale, like a very positive, positive, neutral, negative, very negative, right? When you talk about emotional detection, like how much happiness you secured, how much frustration, 1 moment, 250, happiness, frustration, anger, or even sadness, any type of emotion detection systems. See, these systems are using lexions. Lexions means list of words and the emotions they convey. LEXICONS. Or we can say complex machine learning. The downside of lexicons is that people express emotions in different ways. Maybe some of us also respond in some occasions of our lifetime. Next one, aspect-based sentiment analysis. For example, I told Apple products Face ID. In other way, I can put up like this. When we go for buying a laptop, we have several aspects to buy a particular laptop. We will take this much size, this color, this much thickness, this much battery time, and it should have the camera on the top of the screen, because some of the laptops are having camera on the bottom of the screen. I want to have a shutter in the camera. So several aspects are there. So in that aspect also we can go for doing the analysis, or even multilingual sentiment analysis. It's a little complicated and difficult one because it's required a lot of pre-processing as well as resources. Maybe it should include the top 3 analysis also, right? Multiple ways. So you think of it, if you are implementing this in the banking sector or financial sector, you may able to get benefits by sorting data at a scale, and the RTA will be a perfect one and the analysis will be a consistent one. As per the research, the estimation that people only agree around 60 to 65% of the time when determining the sentiment of a particular text, not 100%. So the consistent is again a questionable one, right? How it is working? It is working on rule-based, automatic, and hybrid. So the different type automatic approaches I put up. So if you are looking the landscape, I came up with the title of finance alone, but it is not limited with that. It is having in several areas, right? And finance is one part. Banks are all one part. Even ATMs, payroll, payments, compliance, exchanges, soft wallets, hard wallets, microtransactions, capital markets, brokerage, right? And anything. So again, it is having an opportunity for us to make the things in the best way. You can dream, create, design, and build the most wonderful place in the world. But it takes place by the people to make that dream as a reality one. Many people are saying many technologies, but it's up to you to choose the best and go for implementing. Why this blockchain technology is prescribed for this financial sector? Because of the scale of cybercrime. For the past few years, I've taken this collection. 2018, if you are looking, the attacks are 80,000, and 21% of the files are protected. 41% of companies have over 1,000 sensitive files left unprotected. And if you are looking 2022, it's estimated spending on cybersecurity solutions will be $170 billion, $1 trillion cumulatively over the period from 2017 to 21. So in these situations, right? In these situations, you dream, think, and take a call. As JBS Holden mentioned, I have no doubt that in reality, the future will be vastly more surprising than anything I can imagine. He made it in the context of health industry. Of course, it is also involving the finance. If you are looking at the evaluation of threats, starts from password guessing to ransomware in different decades and years, and it is also an inevitable. If you are looking at the acts, because most of the persons are always having the question that, sir, if I am implementing the latest technology of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, etc. things, there is a huge possibility of hacking. I already told blockchain is not having such kind of issues, but it can be connected through Internet of Things only. So in that sense, there is a possibility of making delay of your work or stop your work. But in our country, we are having an act which is called IT Act 2000, Cybercrime Prevention Act 2012. As per the IT Act section 43, if anybody damage to computer system, etc., such as illegal access to computer systems, downloading, copying data, inducing virus attack, damaging the computer, stored data or network, etc., shall be liable to pay by way of compensation up to ₹1 crore. Even though we heard several hackings, unfortunately, no persons in our country are coming forward to give such kind of compliance. In fact, stocks, little bit connected with finance, so that I put up, and always we people want to make more money in less time. The blockchain stocks, some people are in top leader, Intercontinental Exchange, Square, Galaxy, Silvergate. Will say, I never heard these terms. But this Intel Core and Canon is a popular term in this world. As per US news, these are the top 6 blockchain stocks in this world. For preparing this session, I have the following references. Starts from KPMG, Ripples, DLT by World Bank Group, BC FinTech by European Investment Bank, BC Opportunities, edition 2019, Introduction to FinTech by SP Gloyer Market Intelligence, FinTech to RegTech. I hope you can recall the term RegTech by Ivani Lutsama. Pre-suit briefing 5 blockchain trends by Delight. Then BC by Assenger Mobility. Then an introduction to cybersecurity by William Ravak. Assenger Security 2019, that is a threat support, threat escape report. Cybersecurity report by Checkpoint Software Technologies Limited. And cybersecurity threats, challenges, opportunities by Clive James. And Who Will Cry When You Die, an Indian author, Robin Sharma's a tip for increasing the happiness index. Thank you for your patient listening. All the materials, images used in the presentation are copyrighted to their respective owners and are used for only educational purpose. If you are interested to do any further collaborative things as an individual capacity, or if you want to have any doubt clearing sessions, you may contact on the contact details posted on the slide. Thank you for your patient listening. Over to the coordinator. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful session related to, it was more related to finance and blockchain. So we have a technical session from today onwards. So upcoming sessions will be related to finance session. So participants will enjoy the technical session as well. So if participants, if you have any question to sir, you can ask. We still have 10 minutes. So if you have any question related to blockchain, and so you can ask, sir.
It's a totally a new topic to them. Okay. First, you classify the interest of the participants. Then you can go for having an experience of the particular technology alone. Then you can come back and try to implement in your management way. By that way, the integration of technology and your management board will find a difficulty. So then again, you can go for higher level of training. By that way, you can have a full-time expertise one. It is
Right.
As per my opinion, it is an awareness only. I hope.
Yes.
If it is in depth, we can have a separate thing.
Yeah, after this session, participants can check their knowledge related to blockchain and how many types of blockchain are there. It is an overview type of thing. So we still have on the day 2. So it is a fit for a day 2 type of session. So we have another session of sir today after tomorrow. So if you have question related to this session, you can ask, or you can ask later in next session. So if I think, sir, they don't have any questions, so we can stop here. So thank you, sir. We will see you day after tomorrow in your next session. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.